let's move into phase 4.
The meat.
The meat of the episode, that's where we talk about what you want. It's the big chunk. It's the sizzle. We are talking about the breakout series, 2 episodes left of WandaVision on Disney+. Oh, man. I'm so excited to talk about this episode. Excited to hear about the predictions. Before we do that, let's how we always do. Let's do a gut check on how the season is going so far. Again, Anthony, not to put you on the spot, but guests being here, how is WandaVision going for you so far, and how'd you feel leaving episode 7?
Yeah, I'm over the moon for WandaVision. Admittedly, I've said this on our show, I'm pretty in the bag for most MCU things, but just the start of WandaVision, how it was so different than anything we've seen from the MCU. And I know that was kind of polarizing to a lot of people. A lot of people felt it was very slow. I think it's been very well paced. I feel like the mystery has been dragged out really well, and we're getting bits and pieces. We're kind of now being able to discard theories, but still have theories in the back that might be confirmed, might not be. I've enjoyed every bit of this. I enjoy the fact that, Wanda, which Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany, I think, have been really good in this. I think they've been able to flex their acting chops a little bit. The show has been able to, take 2 unknown or more minor characters, Wanda and Vision, while also expanding upon the universe, while also introducing new characters, while also laying the groundwork for stuff that's coming out later on. I think this show has many masters to serve, and hopefully they can stick the landing. But so far, I've loved basically every episode.
Love the review, love the thoughts. I think that we're probably echoing that on our end, but I want to get a gut check. Andy, you have to probably agree with every word of that.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's just like this year we're going to be so spoiled with these shows, and like the way that you view these characters and the things that you've already seen when you rewatch them. Like the other day, for example, I think we were watching Endgame, the final battle scene. I was like, turn it on TV, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to watch this, just like every day. On. So and Wanda comes in and does that short little battle scene, and I was just like, this is so much cooler now, like with all these things that you know about her. Like it's like you get a little bit more excited. When I watched it the first time, I wasn't getting that excited for her to show up on screen. I mean, she's great, but it's just like what these shows are going to do is just build these people up to where I don't even know how they're going to handle all these characters being at this level.
Yeah, and like to be like Wanda, and you were playing this character in like these handful of movies, but now they're just flushing it out, like putting it to where they get all this backstory, all this context, and then I feel like we're getting like a new Wanda, a new Vision. Like this is like they're rebirthing these characters now.
Yeah. At the same time, like there's people that from the MCU that are exiting, like possibly Tony Stark, possibly Captain America. So you don't know if spoiler alert, I guess, if you haven't seen Endgame, but
yeah, we
try
our best with the MCU.
I don't know why you're listening to this right now if you haven't seen Endgame, but like they're gonna need people to kind of take the helm for the leaders like that. So who knows who that'll be out of this group? I mean, obviously that's might be kind of the premise of what Falcon and Winter Soldier the next show is, but I'm so excited for that if it even can hold a candle to how good this is. So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see just a totally different way of storytelling. When it's going to be more action, it's going to be a different show. We're still here for it. PC Mike, how's WandaVision tasting for you?
I am surprised every week how much I do like it. I have 2 big things, though.
Okay.
I'm going to pick a little bit. I have to pick a little bit.
Be honest.
I'm mad because I don't know if it was a spoiler. I thought these last 3 episodes were going to be an hour. This one was a little shorter.
I was gonna say we talked about it on the show that was gonna be an hour. It was definitely not. It's standard like 42 minutes or something, 47 maybe. It wasn't even 47.
I think we got bad news. I think we reported that on our show too, and we didn't report it. We reported someone else's reporting.
Yeah.
That's not. It doesn't seem like that's gonna be the case.
Yeah. This week's is 47 minutes. So.
It's closer.
But is that 47 minutes of actual, or is it?
No, it's more like 28 minutes.
And then like credits. 17 minutes of end credits.
It's a total. It's definitely like the total.
And then you don't know if there's going to be an end credit scene or not.
Yeah. Now that we know, spoiler alert for episode 7, we're breaking it wide open today.
There is one.
You said you had 2 things.
I had one more. How in the world wasn't this the first thing they were going to push out in this next phase? Because this is awesome.
Because it was going to be Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I have thoughts on that.
Dude,
please.
Please.
I think at the time, it was going to be Falcon and Winter Soldier. and COVID hit. So obviously that rearranged everything. But I think their strategy was, let's give something that people are familiar with, which is Falcon. I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier will be more like your big Marvel FX type action espionage thing, into something we're a little bit more palatable. But as you could see, like the first couple episodes of WandaVision, I liked it, but the internet was like, I had friends that going, I didn't sign up to watch WandaVision to see the Dick Van Dyke show. Like, I think this was just a little bit more of a risk. And with COVID hitting and everything, it just kind of rearranged schedules. And they were like, if there's any time to take a risk, it's after having a year off of Marvel movies. And now, like, people are so starved for Marvel content that we could probably throw out a piece of crap on plate and people will still watch it. So let's just go with WandaVision. So that's where I think their head was at.
I totally agree, and I think I've said something similar on the show before, to where like I think that like people know Captain America, and like they like see like this new Anthony Mackie coming in, they're like, oh, Captain America. It would have been an easier sell. I totally agree. Where WandaVision is like totally different,
Yeah.
but I mean, I can't get enough of it.
Well, it was a
It's
great
great.
decision. They got like exponentially more subscribers to Disney Plus since the show started, and it's like blowing up even more. So
Well, and then we talked about this last week, but Brandon Davis said that he reported last week from Comic Book that it's the most watched. It was the most watched show worldwide last week. I don't know if that still holds true, but it got up there.
And for me, I mean, not being as big into the Marvel universe as you guys, if I compare this to The Mandalorian, this is must watch for me. I could wait. I watched every episode of The Mandalorian.
Wow.
But I could wait till like Sunday night, or I could wait till Monday and kind of catch it. And, oh, he's doing a little fight scene. He does the same thing. Oh, he found his armor again, and now he's doing his thing. This is must watch. I come home from work, and I'm like, you know what? From 3 to whatever, I'm watching WandaVision. That's how good this show is.
And we've talked about how we do the rewatches for the show and how it's like the easiest thing to put back on and watch for a second or a third time. Like, there's no
Yeah.
question.
yeah,
Absolutely.
you almost have to. You just catch different things every time.
Well, with that, let's get right into the story. This is episode 7. Full spoiler alert right now. WandaVision. Gosh, it's so much fun talking about these things week by week. I can't believe that we just have another show coming right after the corner. It's like we are so spoiled rotten. We're so happy. Breaking the fourth wall is the title of the episode. It's 38 minutes long. The synopsis reads, Monica plots her return. Wanda navigates unsettling complications, and Vision forms a new alliance. As always, we start off with the previously on the episode. And this slide is going to have all of your images from the entire episode if you're watching on our YouTube channel. So previously, looking up here toward the top left-hand side, Monica's cells are getting rewritten by the Hex. She's been through twice. They tell us this again. She's going back in to help Wanda out, and she's going to be meeting somebody to get her rover, to get some kind of vehicle that can take her in there. We get a flashback of Vision being ripped apart when he's outside of the Hex, and it takes his shoulder away. Remember that? They showed that again. We get Pietro getting blasted by Wanda when he says, hey, your dead husband's dead. He can't die twice. They also said, point blank, Monica is quoted to say, if Wanda is the problem, she has to be the solution. And then we get, of course, the big cliffhanger of the episode, the Hex stretching miles on end, pulling in Darcy and much of the Sword group. All right, so the episode opens up. It is I saw a couple things here that people have called. It was a fourth wall, obviously, per the title of the episode. Type of talking to the camera. This is straight out of Modern Family, is what I saw. And then I saw the intro scene. I also looked like he was directly from The Office.
For sure.
Did you guys see anything else?
Yeah, that's got to be it.
That was it, right? I mean, I mean,
that's it.
maybe like Parks and Rec a little bit because it's like similar type of show. But
Yeah.
either way, the music was almost like just
The Office, exactly.
exactly with the mug. Even at the end, we got a picture here. And Wanda's breaking down the fourth wall. She's talking. She said she's going to take a day all by herself. And we get the intro, which we talked about. Here we get Darcy and Vision. It actually opens up with them on the outskirts of town. They're all around this big circus that, Andy, we talked about this last week, that we were going to get this big circus coming to town. Well, Vision and Darcy are part of this. He wakes her up almost immediately. We'll talk about that in a minute. So Wanda is talking to her young boys. She says that she doesn't really know anything that's going on. She's like, how I'm your mom and I'm supposed to know things? I don't know anything. And the boys are like, okay. Agnes shows up. She says, let's leave mom by herself. I'll watch the kids. And then right after she leaves, Wanda's sitting there, and the reality around her is just changing on its own. Like her TV is changing to an old TV. Her fireplace is changing to an old fireplace. And she's trying to fix it. Let's look at you, Anthony. During this part early on in the episode, with like the reality changing around her, was this like, we've said this before. It's like, we notice when things start going haywire when Wanda's not around. Is this, you think, because of like the reality getting so big, she's just struggling to manage it?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. She's expanded the reality so much. You could see in the last episodes the edges of the reality that she was in. Everyone was like frozen, or they kept doing the same task. So you could already see that as you get further from her, it starts to really like not be as cohesive and as real of a reality. And now that she's expanded it so much, you could tell, obviously, that she's just losing her control over everything. Even the littlest things, the things are warping. The milk is warping from like 70s milk to 50s milk to current milk. So yeah, I think you're spot on with that.
I don't know if you guys caught this, but it was like a radio station or a TV station, but they were like, "You're listening to WNDA."
Yep.
I didn't know.
It was like Wanda. Yeah, I totally agree that like even the smallest little thing she can't quite keep up with. So you can tell it's just really starting to slip through the cracks. Okay, so this was a big theory for the show. Monica's going to meet her sword contact. Now, I've been staying away from the online stuff for about 3 weeks now. That's whenever I stopped looking at like anything. But I couldn't help but see a couple of memes that came across my face that this might be John Krasinski as Fantastic Four, Reed Richards. This might be some big name. Okay, it is. What's her name? Agent Major Goodner. Is this somebody that it was nobody to me? So I'll just say that is it somebody to anybody here?
I never looked it up, to be honest.
Oh, I didn't look it up. I meant just like off the top of your head. Did this mean anything to anybody?
No, I didn't look it up, but I feel like it was almost. I feel like there's got to be more. Like they the way that was written, they were hinting at something so much. They teased it a couple episodes. You wouldn't write it like that for it to just be a lady that no one knows. I think there's got to be someone else.
Well, I will say this. She does say that she's going to go right into this reality with this thing. I got an image here up of the vehicle, and she says this is our most sophisticated space vehicle. So it did make me think like, okay, this is like an astrophysics team, so maybe there's more people later.
And also, I'm pretty sure when she talked about who she was going to meet, she said it was a he, so that led me to believe that there could be the person that she was going to meet could maybe not be there. You never know. We might not. This might be readdressed in like 5 movies from now or something like that.
There is a line from Goodner where she says, "I'm not just loyal to you. We're not just loyal to Sword or something like that." She led us to believe that she is loyal to someone else on like behalf of Monica Rambeau. Did you guys pick up on that line that she was loyal to some higher power? I thought maybe it was like a Captain Marvel reference.
Yeah. That's a good call.
But like Anthony said, they have laid too many breadcrumbs.
They have
to just give us this.
Yeah, I think.
And if so, hats off, because you guys pulled us in, and you have people all over the internet. You have the most watched show in the world right now. Hats off if this is your big reveal, but they have something more. They have to.
All right, we get Vision waking up Darcy very early in the episode, so this is great. I was glad. I was like, wake her up. He did. That was good. And they're gonna go back and head to Wanda, but they're gonna have many obstacles on the way. Back to them in a little bit. Back to Wanda. The reality is really, really coming apart now. The storks show back up. The wallpaper's changing. She can't fix it. And then you get that voice from behind the camera that says, "Do you think this is what you deserve?" And you're like, "What?"
Yes.
I mean, especially now, and we'll talk about the big face-off between her and Monica. All right, let's talk about the commercial. This was definitely the most real commercial like from all the ones I've seen before. It's about antidepressant, and it's called Nexus. It anchors you in the reality of your choice because the world doesn't revolve around you. Or does it? Is Nexus like a MCU or Marvel reference? Anthony, do you know about this? Was there something hidden in there that we should be aware of?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. The big thing that I picked up on, and I've been following internet theories and I've been reading up, so I was prepared for it, is there's things in the Marvel universe, it's the comics, that are called Nexus beings. And Wanda is a Nexus being, which is a constant throughout the multiverse. So the way I interpret that is there could be different versions of different characters in the multiverse, but there's always going to be a Wanda that looks like that is the Scarlet Witch, that has those kind of powers. That labels her, if that's what they're hinting at, or maybe building towards, it labels her as like one of the most important characters in not just the MCU but the multiverse itself, because she's basically has influence over everything.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah, I had no idea about that, but Nexus, to me, I knew like the word itself is just like, it's like bringing things together. It's a central focal point, but I didn't know if they're talking about Wanda, but it sounds like you think that's exactly what they're talking about. Is her.
She is a Nexus being within the comics, so she probably will be a Nexus being within the MCU, which would make sense why she is also going to be in the Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange.
Makes total sense. Nice connection. And I mean, yeah, you talk about being relevant within the multiverse. I would assume it's going to play a role in the movie that has the word in the title, right?
Right.
All right, back to Monica. She's going to drive this vehicle into the Hex. Again, the person, Goodner, says it's going to go right into there. It does not. It hits it head on. It spits it out halfway, like turned into this van or truck. I put a picture up here. And this is where Monica says, I'm going in. I am getting goosebumps already talking about this. She bolts in this thing. Woo's like, don't do it. She is phasing in between like different outfits and different voices in her head. You get some of the dialogue from Captain Marvel, I think, whenever her mom was going off into space. And she's like, go do that. And I'm going to say it. We called it on the show. Monica Rambeau has superpowers. She does not have a name or anything. And this, to me, was a birth of an MCU hero right in front of our eyes. I see Anthony giving a thumbs up. PC Mike, do you agree? Did this feel like a superhero being born to you?
Yeah, it was kind of like, I don't know, you can get pretty graphic of being born and pushing through, but yeah, I mean, you saw it, and she's like that hero right now that we have in the show that we're cheering for. I mean, we're cheering for Vision, but for her, somehow they've made us connect to this character in 7 episodes. It might be the mom aspect, coming back from the snap and all of that and all she's dealt with, but you're cheering for her, and that was an awesome scene to see her, and then a little bit her and Wanda, that confrontation. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just moving it right up to that. The very next thing we see, I'm jumping around a little bit in the order of the show, but with Monica, she gets to Wanda, and they have this face-off to where she's like, get out of here, and she superhero lands on the sidewalk.
That happened, and I was like, that's a bad bitch.
Yeah.
I love how the townspeople just kind of stopped and watched, too.
Yeah, they're like, what's going to go down here? Anthony, how were you feeling? Is this something that obviously you guys probably saw this coming too, but what was it like to see it happen for you on screen?
I'm with you guys. I wouldn't say I had goosebumps per se, but I was very excited to enjoy this character and see her become, it looks like she's becoming, so Monica Rambeau in the comics has like 3 or 4 different names. I think she's becoming Photon because her mom, it's her mom's call name in Captain Marvel. They've hinted at Photon. They showed you the plaque with her mom's name, Photon Rambeau. So you're definitely seeing her become a superhero. And to the point of like us falling in love with this character, I think they did a really good job of making the character relatable and using the snap to make it relatable by going with, well, her mom died of cancer while she was gone. And it's such a horrible thing to happen to her, right? Like you were gone in the snap. The last thing you saw was your mom in the hospital. Your mom makes it out of the hospital, but because you're gone for 5 years, she dies 2 years later from cancer. Like that character immediately becomes super sympathetic, super like relatable to anyone that's experienced loss, and also just someone you root for. So then when you finally see this character get those powers and jump through the hex one more time, it is like a stand up and cheer moment, and it's great for Marvel. And you know they're trying to appeal to different demographics, and now they have, you know, they had some female superheroes with Black Panther, but now they have someone that has powers, right? That's a Black female superhero. So they're doing a great job. This is, I mean, I'm with everything you guys said. I was very pumped to see it.
Yeah, well, Marvel Studios did what they like do best with all their titles is they weave in these other origin stories to where like, you know, like we're probably going to get like a Photon TV show one day. Wow. You know, like that's exactly what they do. You know, they weave this into a backstory where like Mike said it, like the show's called WandaVision, and all of a sudden I'm like, well, who the hell's Monica Rambeau? Because I'm all about her.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's talk Darcy and Vision. This is kind of cool. This is I will say this episode was I fully expected it. it was definitely, I thought, like the most. It had a lot of big things, a lot of big reveals, but like overall, it was a little boring. But I feel like the third to last episode of a major series like does have this like kind of like lull moment, reveal, tell some stuff, and like the next 2 episodes in my mind, we're just not ready for. They're gonna be so great, action packed, big reveals, big actors. Where this was more like, okay, who's doing it, right? Speaking of that, Darcy helps Vision not remember. She fills him in on what happened before Westview. She's like, this is what happened in Age of Ultron. This is what happened in Infinity War. And Vision says it. He's like, for me, this is me finding it out for the first time. For Wanda, this is just a matter of weeks that all this has happened. And even for us as fans, it's been years. But like, you're talking about losing Vision, getting dusted, coming back. Like for her, it's been like kind of so that was kind of cool getting that perspective. We get that Monica and Wanda face off we talked about. And this is where Agnes shows up and says, get out of here, Monica. I'm taking her. Getting to the end of the episode here. Vision does leave Darcy in that truck, but we don't see Vision again the rest of the episode. All right, here we go. Big ending. So I said it was boring. It's not.
It's not boring.
No, not
I take
boring.
that back immediately. There's the wrong word. I just felt like there was parts of that where I felt the lull, and like I hadn't felt that, but it's because like more real stuff was happening. But anyway.
Yeah, it's just comparing to the others. You can't compare.
So Wanda's in Agnes's house. She notices that the kids aren't around. There's a couple sandwiches, like half eaten. She sees a locust on the drape, and then says, where are the boys? Agnes says, downstairs. Goes to the basement, and this is where it becomes very clear very quickly. It's getting very witchy very, very quickly. Getting roots on the side, ends up becoming like a full-on dungeon. And here comes Agnes. Wanda, you didn't think you were the only magical girl in town, did you? And then cue the music, cue the flashbacks. It's been Agatha all along, Agatha Hartwell. This has been one of the most biggest theories about the entire show the entire time. And she's been behind essentially everything. You're getting flashbacks of her confusing Herb. She actually created Pietro, it looked like. She faked it when talking to Vision. Andy, you called that. And she said she killed Sparky too. And you were wondering who killed the dog.
Yeah.
What a bad person.
Holy cow, she's been doing this thing. She got like her own title intro. The biggest question I had at the end of this was, is she the only villain? Is there more at play here? Or is this our big bad? I'll look at you, PC Mike, because I see you already shaking your head. What do you think?
I think there's more to it. But I will say this. We kind of knew this was coming for weeks, like build up. But how they revealed it was flat awesome. I loved it. I loved how cheeky it was. I loved the little things. I saw online somewhere like somebody's like starting a group to like get her for killing Sparky. Like, but how they revealed it, I just thought was flat awesome. There's Emmy buzz around her now for this role. Like, it was that good. But no, I think there's something more. There has to be something more. It's not just her. Because there's those breadcrumbs that we just talked about this episode. There has to be more. There's more layers. She keeps talking about her husband. Yeah. And everyone's kind of jumping to that kind of realm of, oh, who's her husband? Oh, okay. So that's that. And yeah, I'm excited to see. I love this episode. I didn't think it was boring.
I wish I take that back. I'll say it was not boring. I'm sorry I said that. I will say that here's what I think. I think that compared to the next two, like it was soft. Like it's going to be crazy these next two.
It was a little exposition-y maybe.
Yeah.
But maybe not. I wouldn't go boring.
Yeah. A lot of build up for hopefully a great payoff.
Giggler, what was it like for you seeing the big reveal? And did you have any thoughts on the magic book in the basement?
I saw that. I don't know. It could be anything. I mean, I saw speculation that it's similar to like a book that was in Doctor Strange. I guess that would make total sense.
Yeah, one of the magic books like he keeps like in the back library and all that.
Yeah. But I love the reveal. Like to think like I was down for her to be in the show the whole time. Like she's really funny. Like it's just crazy that like the horny lady from Step Brothers is like
Take me, Dale.
Yeah, just want to ball you up and put you inside of me. My God, like that lady is like in the MCU now, and like not only that, she killed it so hard that she's like has people trying to get her awards for it. So it's awesome. I love that the MCU can just pull out somebody. Like, think about how, like, every time there's a new actor now that's going to be this new person, I'm like, who the hell is going to play this? Everyone is already in the MCU right now. It's like, once you're in it, you're set because you're going to be in multiple movies and you're going to have your face known. Like this Tiana Paris that plays Monica Rambeau, like I have no idea what she was in before this, but like if she's in some random movie next year, I'll probably see it because I'm down.
Same for Tom Holland. Like that's like I'll watch his new stuff because I'm like, oh well, he's earned it in my book because he's already been in my movies. Anthony, what were you thinking? Is there anything that we're missing here? Do you know anything about this book or any predictions with pertaining to Agatha Hartwell?
Sure. I echo all the thoughts as far as I thought it was a fun reveal at the end. We're all kind of on the end. We kind of knew that she was Agatha Harkness just from talking to fellow nerds and being into it. But I think the majority of people were probably like, who the hell's Agatha Harkness? Like this was kind of a big reveal for people in that they didn't see it coming. So I think it works on multiple levels if you're a comic book fan or just a casual fan. And if you're a casual fan, you're probably now looking up Agatha Harkness. So they're doing a great job of like making the casual fan throughout the MCU have to like go onto Wikipedia and look up stuff, which is only going to enhance their brand further. I don't think this is the final villain. She's hinted a few times at her husband, Ralph, and the devil being in the details. And I think we're getting an eventual Mephisto reveal, maybe not in this show, but maybe like a tease of him coming along, similar to like a Thanos type thing. And, I think it's been really fun. I know that you guys brought up the book. I did see on Screen Crush, a YouTube channel I follow, that there is a book missing in the original Doctor Strange too.
Wow. Okay.
This book looks very similar. First off, the books are held in hex-like chains in Doctor Strange.
Yep.
And the book looks very similar to the book that was in Agatha's dungeon/basement. So I think there's more ties to come. And I think all of this is been in service to creating these kids that I think are going to be like, I guess, little minion. Like I think the overall plan is for the Wanda to create these kids with Vision to create like little magic minions per se. So I have one little thing that I really enjoyed too. Earlier in the episode, Wiccan was like talking about his powers and how like everything's really noisy and all that. But then you notice when he sits with Agatha, he's like, I like you. You're really quiet. Like he can't hear her thoughts. Either she's like repressing them, or she's just like a spirit, or like there's something going on with her, obviously. And then we see the reveal at the end.
Yeah. As soon as she said she's going to take them off her hands for a minute, I was like, you know what's happening now. She's not getting those kids back.
Yeah, there were a couple moments where I thought just to myself, like, Wanda, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, like just set off that Amber Alert right now because they're gone.
And like, what happened to him? We don't even know. I know that she took a bite out of a kid once, she said.
And then I did see online when the Wanda was having all that stuff change, and she had milk. And I say that weird. I know I'm from St. Louis, but
milk.
There was a missing persons on the carton.
Carrie caught that too.
And
just for a moment.
And somebody's like, "Well, she did bite a kid. Maybe she ate a kid, and that's the missing kid that was on that carton."
Well, wasn't you mentioned the fly or the locust that was on the wall? I mean, I think I saw on like Reddit or something, like someone was like, "Well, that could be
the plagues."
Wiccan, and then Speed would be the rabbit that was in the room.
Oh, there was a rabbit.
Oh.
Well, no, that's
like
that's Mr. What's his name?
Scratchy Scratch or something like that.
Yeah, he's a good actor. Which she always says she really talks about that bunny quite a bit. She does talk about the bunny a lot though. Maybe that's Ralph too.
Well, the bunny. There was a tie that I saw online where Agatha's character. I'm not like super versed in Agatha's character, but apparently in the comics she walks around with like a cat that can become like a giant tiger. And I think there was speculation that the bunny was the sub for like the cat. So this bunny might be something else. We'll see.
I like that.
And I'm also, like you talked about, Anthony, I'm one of those fans who literally I'm on Wikipedia right now reading about Agatha. So I'm like trying to put all these stuff together, but I don't want to read too much. Yeah, I don't want to read too much. I'm like, I don't want to spoil anything, but they'll throw a curveball here and I won't even see anything coming. So,
well, there was also a mid-credit scene in this episode, like we said, like that hasn't been a thing before. I think I had turned off the show in the last 2 episodes. This one, I just happened to
Me
be
too.
like letting play, and it came on, and I literally was like, "Oh my gosh!" And what we get, just real quick, Monica's breaking in. It looks like to the back of Agatha's house, and we just get Evan Peters pop out of nowhere and just go, "Snooper's gonna snoop." All right, let's talk about thoughts and theories for the final 2 episodes. I have my own. I put them out on Twitter. I'll just read. Let's just do episode 8 for now. I think we're gonna get some flashbacks. We're gonna get Wanda and like her story post blip and how she took Vision's body, and we're gonna see how Agatha got involved with that process. So we'll get an introduction to her, maybe an origin story of Agatha of sorts, whether it's flashback style or whatnot. And then we'll have like a cliffhanger to get us into episode 9, the big battle. Let's do a round table and just final thoughts on the episode. Giggler, I'll start with you. Any other theories on Agatha, Pietro? You think Vision's gonna save Wanda? Like, she's obviously down in this basement now. Is she even held captive? We don't even really know yet.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Final thoughts.
I'm just worried that Pietro is gonna not, like, him being the Pietro from the X-Men movies is gonna not be addressed, and it's just gonna be kind of left out there,
I hope not.
just to like f with our brains, maybe. But I just think, I think that there's another villain that's coordinating this to get the children. Who knows then what that's going to lead to? Obviously, there's going to be the battle. They're going to get him back, right? But then I keep hearing people say about how sad this show is going to be. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I mean,
I've said it.
Kids are kidnapped. That's sad.
Yeah.
But
I've
they
had
can't
theories
kill-
that it's gonna be like sad, like they're gonna break our hearts with like this vision they've got us to know again. I hope not.
Are they? Yeah, I think this show will end with the kids being rescued in some manner.
You think
But then-
they'll make it out in the real world, the real MCU?
For sure.
Yeah.
They're gonna be. There's gonna be some way that it's gonna have a happy ending though. But like with Wanda and the kids, maybe. But you're right. I think somebody's got to go. I just don't know who it's gonna be.
Yeah,
Who I want it to be or who I think it's gonna be. I don't know.
that's fair.
I'm perplexed on that topic for sure.
Anthony, I'll go to you. Final thoughts. Any major predictions you want to make for episode 8?
I said this when we recorded our show, which is coming out on Wednesday. I'm still I don't know what's going to happen, and I like that. we kind of know where the pieces are moving, but we still don't fully know the full story. I think the kids, as we've mentioned before, are very important. I think that was the whole gist of this. I think that's why Agatha doesn't really Agatha might have brainwashed or maybe not brainwashed, but let Scarlet Witch know that Sword was experimenting on Vision because that would piss her off. And then she just needed Vision back to put his fake penis into Wanda and create these kids. And now he has she has no use for Vision anymore. Hence why he's kind of been gone. So I think the kids are important. I think, this show has a lot of things to address and set up. So I'm curious to see how it plays out. But I think as far as it being sad, I think, they've hinted at the point of you have to confront your grief and you have to deal with it and it becomes your truth. And I think the sadness will be the fact that I don't think we'll see Vision anymore after this. I don't think he exists outside the Hex. And I think this is the end for Vision. I think he gets one more. He gets to go out on a heroic moment of his own choosing rather than getting a stone ripped out of his head. But I don't think Vision's going to last anymore.
That's a good theory. I will say this. I hope it's not true. I really hope we get this Vision long term. But hey, I think you're probably on the right track. PC Mike, final thoughts on WandaVision this week as we prepare for the final 2 episodes.
Yeah, that's where I was kind of going. Vision gets his swan song, and he goes out on a higher note. Maybe it's somehow saving the kids or doing something like that, or setting Wanda free in a way and easing her mind. This is what needs to happen. I'm in a better place. And I still keep going back. I haven't tried to read spoilers or anything like that. That Paul Bettany interview where he says he's going to work with somebody he's never worked with and super excited about. I don't think we've seen it yet. I don't think it's Evan Peters. I don't think it's the female scientist that we got in this last episode. So I think there's going to be a big reveal, and I think it's going to come, and I think it's going to be cliffhanger-ish at the end.
Totally agree. I said the same thing about episode 9. You know, every MCU title is essentially a cliffhanger at some level. You know, you have end credit scenes for all these years. I think that it will wrap up WandaVision season 1, and it will be a direct like cliffhanger to either Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness or maybe even another MCU title that's going to happen in between. It does kind of pay me just to think like what Falcon and Winter Soldier will get here, and it will just definitely be its independent story. It's not going to have any ties to WandaVision or anything. But that being said, that'll be cool in its own way. We'll just have a new story to explore, and by the time we start seeing the end things that affect, say, a future movie like Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, we'll appreciate it even more. It'll be exciting to see how it all connects. Man, oh man, what a show. Just got to give it up right now. Disney Plus, Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, Jon Favreau, and the team at large have done it again. 2 episodes to go, baby. We're really excited about it.
I can't wait.
All right, let's talk about what's coming up.